Hi, Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast review for you. Let's talk about Final Destination 3. This 2006 film, the third one of the franchise, had a $25 million budget, which is a little bit less than the last one, but went on to make $118 million. A big hit, and Final Destination 4 was greenlighted really quickly. James Wong and Glenn Morgan return to this film. Jeffrey Riddick decides not to. The guy who originally wrote the characters, the original story and everything, he was on the first two movies. He doesn't return. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I didn't even remember she was in this movie. She's fantastic in the film. Ryan Merriman is the other big star in here. And Tony Todd is now a voice. That was kind of sad. Movie came out in 2006, made a lot of money. The rest is history. This would be the one that's the roller coaster one. As we've said before, every Final Destination movie has some premonition of some horrible thing that's about to happen. Few people get out of the way of the horrible thing. The horrible thing does happen, and those people are targeted by death. He follows them around and tries to take them out in more intricate ways. That's what differentiates these movies from most other movies. The way people are taken care of by death, to put it mildly, is usually something fantastic, some kind of Rube Goldberg mousetrap kind of, this has to hit this, then this happens, and this swings over this, and this swings under that, and then it flies around, and then some or others just, whoop, whoop, there's an accident. It's pretty good. I mean, the third one is starting to show a few chinks in the armor, so to speak, in the story, because honestly, it's pretty forgettable when it's over. There's some really good stuff, and the way it ends is also a really, oh my. It's crafted very well. I immediately noticed that the movie was more beautiful than the first two. It's a lot more colorful. They film a lot of stuff at the Carnival Fair, Six Flags, wherever this was filmed. And it shows. The colors throughout the entire movie were more rich. As a Blu-ray goes, it was about the same, little higher bit rate than Final Destination 2. And the soundtrack was even more, shall we say, dynamic, with quiet scenes, louder scenes, and it felt more like a modern soundtrack. Came out in 2006, 3 years after the first one, and the characters in the movie, it's 5 years after the events of the original plane explosion. And they do know a little bit about what's going on as they learn as they go on. But why they didn't bring Tony Todd back, I don't know. The roller coaster they get on is a ride themed with the devil, and there's a giant devil on top that has a voice that calls out to people. He did that, and there is also a voice you hear later that I don't want to give anything away, but he's not actually in the film, which is kind of sad. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the fourth one. All in all, I think what makes this movie is Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She carries the entire film. She obviously, even at this very young age, was going to be a pretty fantastic actress, as she has turned out to be, and she really does. There is one really gratuitous, I guess to keep it rated R, two women get naked. They're kind of set up from the beginning to do this, and those are the two girls that die in the tanning beds, if you remember that. It's kind of expected and felt honestly pretty gratuitous in 2006. It felt more 90s to me, or 80s even. But anyway, I really did enjoy the film. It's just the first one where when it was over, it didn't have anything quite as memorable as the log truck scene or the plate glass scene. Now, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form it's a bad film, because even though critics savaged it at the time, it is in line with the first two. I would say it's just a hair under. As the movies go, the first is my favorite, second is a close second, and third is close to the second one. Interesting to see how we go forward. I have 3 more to go, 2 on Blu-ray and then 1 in the theater. Like I said, I like the characterizations. The deaths are always great. There's a little more computer-generated stuff in this one than in the previous 2, but modern times, but doing that kind of stuff becomes cheaper over time. But there is a lot of practical effects, a lot of gore stuff. Again, like the second movie, they don't go full Italian horror movie with it. When I say that, if you haven't seen a whole lot of Italian horror movies, they linger on the gore. Like somebody will get disemboweled and they'll close up on the entrails. They'll spend a lot of time showing the person walking around with their entrails hanging out. When that kind of thing happens in this movie, it's usually pretty quick, a little brief out of the corner of your eye. Camera gets off of it really quick. You see only a half second of it, that kind of thing. They don't go full gory porn with it, so to speak. But I think that restraint, but also the ability that you never know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen, is the fun of these movies. If it had a set piece as grand, and I did notice they went for a giant set piece at the end of the film too, not just at the beginning. So that was very cool. And the way it kind of ends, like I said, is a fitting ending for this kind of horror film. Third in the series is my third favorite, but it's no less a fun ride. And I'm really happy to be rewatching these movies in 2025. So I'll watch the fourth one in the next day or so, and then the fifth one after, and then I will go to the theater, hopefully on Tuesday. So I expect my review like Wednesday or Thursday in the week. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts are on the way. Please like, share, and subscribe. That is a huge deal for us. Anybody who makes content on any of these platforms. I hope you have a spectacular day and go see a movie.